Hey, how's it going, fam? Welcome back to Peggy and Don Stays Ready. Because if you stay ready, you won't have to get ready. For those of y'all who might be new to the channel, my name is Don. I served almost 26 years in the United States Army, including 5 combat tours. And I use that information that I've learned during that time, along with my wife Peggy, to share preparation tips for a lot of people out there. We talked about emergency pantries, defending your property, preparing for diseases, any kind of emergency that may come up, monetary emergencies and stuff like that. And we were very, very proud of that stuff, but we haven't posted in a very, very long time. And recently I went back and I was seeing some comments about where are you guys at? There's so much going on right now. They would appreciate some more information from us. And I get it. And that's why I really had to come out here and say something that's been on my mind lately. There's a lot going on in this country. A lot of scary stuff going on in this country. And people want information. People want to know how they can prepare for it, what they can deal with. The biggest problem I see is there are so many people who are putting out information about their takes on what's going on. And the problem with that is most of those people have an agenda from one side to the other. And they're basically trying to influence you. So you don't know who to trust and who to believe anymore. Well, I just want to say this. I have no agenda. I realize that by now you have chosen a side, and there's nothing I can say or most people can say on either way for you to change what side you're on. So I'm going to start off by telling you what side I'm on. I'm on the side that wants to protect children. I'm on the side that wants to make sure that poor people have food. I'm on the side that wants to make sure that the ill and sick have enough care to take care of themselves without going bankrupt. That's what side I'm on. So now we got that out of the way. So the reason why I'm posting today is that, like I said, Peggy and I, we were very, very proud of the information that we have provided. And we were basing that information on like emergencies, something that happens suddenly, like a hurricane or a tornado comes through, or maybe a snowstorm makes you lose power. How do you keep your food fresh and everything? How do you feed yourself? Or maybe even another pandemic. Like, what if the store is closed? How are you going to make sure you get food and water and stuff if there's a situation where you can't go to the store and it's not readily convenient to you? All of that was very, very good information, and I stand by it. But there's one concept that we really didn't focus on, and that is the slow, gradual decline on the foundation of what America is and what we have come to expect from our leaders. That slow decline, that crumbling, is not like a sudden thing. You lose a piece, you lose a piece, and you lose a piece, and eventually you can't stand on it anymore. That's what I believe is going on right now. We have always said we're not trying to scare anybody, and that's not what I'm trying to do right now. Right now, I'm trying to tell you that if you are not making preparations or you are not adjusting to the new reality, things could get really, really bad for you really, really quick. Now, what evidence do I have that the foundations are crumbling? Well, the first people who usually feel it is the farmers. Now, if you're watching the news at all, ever, which most people try to avoid because for some reason news is no longer objective. They all seem to have some kind of bias. But if you're watching the news at all, you're starting to see that the farmers are getting very, very frustrated. And when you lose the farmers, you're losing the foundation. That's one of the first things that go. I watched a video yesterday where a 7th generation farmer says, there's not going to be an 8th generation. I'm not going to put my kids through this. I'm getting rid of this farm and I'm going to find something else. 7 generations, and in 12 months' time, they made a decision. This is not going to work anymore. And so they're selling the farm. There's been a lot of self-life ending. I think that's what the word you gotta use on YouTube is. From farmers, it has increased dramatically over the past few months. And it's because they don't see a way around this. Another thing I've heard recently, that I've seen recently, this is not just like rumors or something. This is something that's actually happening. Someone at the Pentagon put out a letter to every National Guard leader, every National Guard commander in the country. And they said all 50 states need to assemble a QRF for their National Guard to deal with riots or civil unrest. Now, for those of y'all who wasn't in the military, is a QRF is a quick reaction force. They basically, if something happens, we can call the QRF up and they can be ready at the front gate in less than an hour. They know what to grab. They have a commander. They know where their weapons are. They know what to do. And they already been trained for dealing with certain situations. I was part of a QRF in Korea. And I was also part of a QRF in Afghanistan. So QRFs are being called up, are being trained to not deal with foreign adversaries or people outside the country, but to deal with people in the country. Now, if for some reason that does not bother you, that does not scare you, there's only one explanation. You are absolutely certain, you are positive that those people, those military people are not coming after you or your loved ones. And I just want to say this as clearly as I can. You are wrong. If they decide to stand up and accept those orders and do what they're told to do, none of you are exempt from it. Currently, we're in the middle of a shutdown. SNAP benefits and food stamps are up in the air. Now, a lot of you might believe that food stamps are just for lazy people who don't want to work. As I said, I've been armed for 26 years, almost 26 years. I had many soldiers who were on food stamps, soldiers who were working full time for the United States Army, for the people of this country, and they did not make enough money for food. And so they had to be on food, some sort of assistance. Full-time workers getting assistance. And there are many people like that who have jobs, but they either have too many kids or is not receiving a proper compensation for their jobs to where they're unable to feed their families and take care of all the other things that they be taken care of. Right now, we're looking at Medicare being stopped for a lot of people. We're looking at all kind of medical assistance. Insurance rate might be doubling up. I don't know what you pay for insurance, but if your insurance doubled or tripled, what would that do to your food security or to your family security? These are things that are happening right now. Today is what, October 29th? I'm posting this today, this afternoon. And a lot of things going to be happening over the next couple of weeks that could greatly impact. I've seen people posting videos saying, if I don't get my stamps and my food is going hungry, I have no choice but to steal. I am not trying to excuse any of it. Right now, there are soup kitchens open. There are soup kitchens open for soldiers. Right now, there are soup kitchens and food lines open for soldiers who are serving the people of the United States. This sounds very ominous. This sounds very scary, but at some point you need to accept the reality and figure out how you're going to adjust to it. Now, if you've been following me and Peggy on our other channels, on our lifestyle channels and stuff, you know that we're making a decision to go. We're leaving. A lot of other Americans, patriotic Americans, are leaving. Just some people just to test the waters out, just to find out what else is out there, because they don't want to be here in case what looks like is going to happen actually happens. So we're looking at places abroad like many other Americans are. So what advice do I have for you? I understand that many people don't have the resources or the ability because of family ties or work situations and stuff like that to where they just can't just pick up and leave. And I do understand that. And my advice to you would be to make sure your preps, the preps that we've been talking about over the past 3-4 years, make sure your preps are in order. Make sure you have alternative places to go. Make sure your family is informed about what they can and cannot do, where they can and cannot go. I know this sounds like something from, I don't know, Orson Welles or somebody like that, but these are discussions that are going to have to be had over the next couple years. This is some of the worst I have ever seen, and I hadn't even comprehended this as a possibility. I've always told people, nah, Nobody's gonna be able to do that because there are steps in place, there are checks and there's balances to keep this kind of stuff from happening. Well, the checks and balances are failing. I apologize for bringing you a purely doom and gloom type of video, but I think it's extremely important that if you are not currently making preparations, if you are not getting ready for what is coming down the line, you will be caught off guard. And that's something that Peggy and I have preached against ever since we started. So please make your preparations. And I will probably do a couple more videos. This channel had basically been just shelved, but before Peggy and I decide to go ahead and move abroad, I'm probably going to do a couple more videos, at least 2 or 3, to try to share with you some of the insights and some of the ideas I think you can use to be able to adapt to what is going on. And hopefully, something intervenes, someone intervenes, or some individual decide that the care of the American people, the children, the families is more important than certain political leanings, than money, than stuff, than tax cuts, and whatever else it is. If you are a Christian, if you are a person with faith, feeding the poor, feeding strangers, and taking care of individuals should be very, very high up on your list. This is a shelf channel for the most part, so if I lose subscribers, I am fine with that. But for those of y'all who want to stick around, I will try to bring you more information. I look forward to your comments about suggestions about what I can talk about, how you prepare for what situations you're looking for, and then maybe we can all just help each other out as a community and get through this together. That's all I have for today. I just want to remind you guys, just get out there and do something good for yourself and for others as well, and take care of each other. Y'all take it easy, fam.